Alright, so in this video we're going to be looking at some additional formulas, and they're actually called the addition formula. Sometimes they might be called the compound angle formula as well, but it's just the same, it's just two different names for the same meaning. So what they are 6 formulas to expand when we have two angles inside a trig function. So you can see the 6 formulas here. We have this sine A plus B, sine A minus B, cos A plus B, cos A minus B, tan A plus B, and tan A minus B. There's a way for us to expand or even like reduce certain trig functions into other equations, and this just allows us to open up just more possibilities to solve additional questions and just manipulate trig functions even further. So you just have to be very careful of just the order for each one. So as you can see, for sine, it's going to be sine A plus B. It's going to be sine cos cos sine. That's how I tend to remember it. And the plus, if it's sine A plus B, then it's going to be plus. If it's sine A minus B, then it's going to be a negative. But cos, the order is very important, so you can't change the order around. It's going to be cos A cos B, sine A sine B. And the signs are the opposite. So if it's cos A plus B, then it's going to be a negative when we're expanding it. And vice versa for cos A minus B. For tan A plus B, it's a fraction when we have tan A plus B over the numerator over 1 minus tan A times tan B. So it's just a matter of you guys just continuously using it and just getting used to these and just being very familiar with it. It does take a bit of time getting used to it, but hopefully after solving more questions, then it will be a bit more easier for you. So we can solve some questions. So if you look at some of these questions here, maybe let's go for question A. So sine 30 cos 60 plus cos 30 sine 60. So sine 30 cos 60 plus cos 30 sine 60. So first things first, we need to identify what our A and B are. Well, A is just going to be equal to 30, and B is going to be equal to 60. And then we need to identify, is it going to be sine, cos, or tan? Well, the order is sine, cos, cos, sine, which means it's going to be the sine one. And it's going to be, because there's a plus here, then we know it's going to be sine A plus B. So it's going to be A plus B, which is equal to sine 90, which is the same thing as 1. Okay, so as long as you identify the A and B's and work out which one it's going to be, then it's fairly simple to use. Maybe you can try another one. Let's try this cos pi over 8 minus sine pi over 8, sine pi over 8. So once again, we have to identify an A and B's. Well, A is pi over 8, and B is also pi over 8. And then we have to work out, is it sine or cos? Well, it's cos, cos, sine, sine, and that's going to be the cos one. And because it's a minus, it's the opposite for cos, so we know it's cos A plus B. So pi over 8 plus pi over 8, which is the same thing as cos pi over 4, which will give us root 2 over 2. Okay. Let's try one more. So maybe let's try question H, 1 minus tan 15 over 1 plus tan 15. So 1 minus tan 15 over 1 plus tan 15. At first glance, it doesn't seem to be any of these, right? But it's going to be most similar to the tan ones. But yet it's still slightly different because we need 2 tan terms in the numerator. We've only got 1. And we also need 2 tan terms in the denominator. And once again, we only have 1. Well, what we can do instead is we should know the knowledge that tan 45 is actually equal to 1. So what I can do now is replace the 1s with tan 45. So on the numerator, we have tan 45 minus tan 15. I'm not going to replace this 1 here, but I can say tan 15 is the same as 1 times tan 15. So I can say it's tan 45 times tan 15. Once you've done this, now it looks somewhat similar to the addition formulas. So it's going to be tan A plus B or tan A minus B. Well, this is a minus, so it's going to be tan A minus B. So it's going to be tan 45 minus 15, which is tan 30 degrees, which is root 3 over 3. So it's just a matter of just manipulating it slightly or using the knowledge to make it into a similar form of the addition formula. Okay, so we can solve additional questions such as this one here. So given that tan x plus pi over 3 is 1 over 2, show that tan x is 8 minus pi over 3. The first thing first is x plus pi over 3, so we know that it's going to be a tan a plus b1 formula here, right? So a is x, and b is pi over 3. So I can expand this by saying it's equal to tan x plus tan pi over 3 over 1 minus tan x times tan pi over 3. And that's going to be equal to your 1 over 2. Right, we're just going to cross multiply now. So 2 tan x plus 2 tan pi over 3 is equal to 1 minus tan x times tan pi over 3. Right, tan pi over 3 is just the same thing as root 3, right? That's the exact value, so I'm going to replace that as well. So 2 tan x plus 2 root 3 is equal to 1 minus root 3 tan x. I'm now going to make tan x to one side, so we have 2 tan x plus root 3 tan x is equal to 1 minus 2 root 3. Factorize it, so tan x we have 2 plus root 3 over 1 minus 2 root 3, and divide to leave us with tan x like this. Okay. But this is technically what tan x is, but I just want it in this form, so what we can do is now rationalize the denominator. So we'll have 2 minus root 3, 2 minus root 3, and we'll get 2 minus 4 root 3 minus root 3 plus 6 over 4 minus 3, which will give us 8 minus 5 root 3, and that's what they wanted to show earlier. So as you can see, it's just a matter of just using the formulas when they require it. So you have to be very, very familiar with it and make sure you're using the right ones according to the question.